fairy tale-like hum wakes Naomi. Reaching for Ren, she's met with cool, empty sheets. So she makes her way to the living room. As she nears the room, the humming becomes clearer. It causes Naomi's skin to rise in tiny bumps. In the dull lamplight, Ren twirls gracefully to the tune vibrating from her mouth. "Ren?" Naomi says, and Ren stops abruptly. "What are you doing?" This is the second time she's caught Ren in this unusual behavior. Ren flashes a foreign smile. "Dancing." "I can see that, but why?" "I'm just happy," Ren says. Naomi doesn't push. Ren's strange behavior these past 3 weeks has been concerning, but so far pestering for answers has gotten her nowhere. Instead, Naomi leaves Ren to her oddities and returns to bed. The next day, on New Year's Eve, Naomi waits for Ren to relinquish the bathroom. She's been locking the door, another strange behavior. This has made it difficult for Naomi to get ready in the morning, which has caused a few arguments. It doesn't help that the mirror in their bedroom broke the very morning Ren made the decision to start locking her out. Despite Naomi's efforts to communicate, Ren insists everything is fine. At 7:30, they leave their apartment, and a white Nissan is parked outside the building. "Naomi?" the driver asks. "That's me," she confirms, opening the door for Ren, who is sliding on sunglasses, even though the sun set 2 hours ago. "Where's the sun?" Naomi asks. "Just provoking mystery." Ren smiles, sliding into the back seat. As they take off, Naomi wonders if she'll take off those stupid shades. No luck. She grabs Ren's hand, and it lays rigidly in hers as she awaits the squeezes that typically accompany their hand-holding for occasions like these. The ones that tell her, "I love you." But they don't come. So Naomi makes the effort to let Ren know that whatever it is she's feeling, she doesn't have to go through it alone. 1, 2, 3. Naomi's hand pulses. "Yes?" Ren asks. Naomi retracts her hand and watches the city pass by. Their relationship has always been solid. Communication has never been an issue. The fact that she can't figure out what's wrong, and that Ren pretends that no problem exists, puts her in a glum mood. She doesn't even want to go to this party, but she wants Ren to be happy. Maybe this is what Ren needs to bounce back from whatever it is she's going through. Once parked in front of the hotel, Ren gets out without so much as a thank you to their driver. Naomi extends her gratitude to the man and then follows Ren into the hotel. It's nothing too fancy, but Naomi doesn't know how Ren rented out the entire building. When she asked, Ren simply said there's no need to worry, which only left her with more questions than answers. At the front desk, the clerk greets them almost a little too eagerly. "Are you here for the party?" Her eyes fix on Naomi. "We are," Naomi says, fighting back laughter at her overly enthusiastic tone. She looks at Ren, thinking she'd at least smirk, but the humor of the situation is lost on her. "Wonderful," the clerk says, acknowledging Ren with a smile. After checking in, they head for the elevator. Ren draws her shades once more, and Naomi watches in irritation. Ren smiles a closed-lipped smile, and Naomi stares at her own reflection in the lenses of the oversized sunglasses. They drop their bags off in their room on the 3rd floor and then proceed to the 5th. Stepping off the elevator into the pre-event hall, there's a table against the wall and a room to the side that houses the extra food. Across from the table is a wooden board, painted white with "Happy New Year 2024, written in gold paint right before the party room. Once in the party room, Ren removes her sunglasses. The room is uncomfortably bright. "Yeah, you might actually need those," Naomi jokes. Ren blinks and forces a pity laugh. Each clothed table has a candle in the center. Ren already has a candle out, lighting the one closest to her. Zigzagging around the tables, Naomi's heels clink against the hardwood floor. She reaches an opening that is surely meant for dancing and heads for another door to familiarize herself with the layout. She's about to open it when, "No!" Ren says harshly. Naomi turns to her, startled. "It's private. Locked. Besides, I need your opinion." Ren holds up a finger, making her way to the light switch and picking up a remote along the way. She turns off the lights and hits a button. The room lights up in a softer, more sophisticated glow. "It's nice," Naomi says, walking to Ren. "Oh!" Ren grabs a clear bin labeled phones and hands it out to Naomi. "Are you serious?" Naomi asks. "Afraid so. Tonight, we're going to be fully present," Ren says. Naomi reluctantly places her phone in the bin. "Now," Ren picks up a Polaroid camera from beside the phone bin. Naomi leans in close as Ren takes their picture. The camera buzzes and a photo pops out. Ren removes it. "No peeking until tomorrow," she says, disappearing from the room. As people shuffle in and the music thrums, Naomi fills her cup with rum and coke, watching Ren interact with the crowd. She's awfully touchy. Brandon, a co-worker of Ren's, makes a joke, and Ren laughs, but it's not quite right. It leaves Naomi curiously uneasy. Her laugh is what drew her to Ren when they first met. She loved the way it flowed from her, loud and unabashedly. Distinguished. It was contagious. But the one coming from her now is soft, more polite and somehow unnerving. Ren touches Brandon's arm, and Brandon notices Naomi watching and excuses himself, exiting the room. After 2 drinks, Naomi sticks to water. Ren has taken countless pictures of partygoers, and Naomi tries not to be bothered by the fact that Ren has basically ignored her, aside from the ingenuine check-ins. Now, Ren dances. It is fluid and alluring. Naomi watches her girlfriend, who appears more like a stranger, and can't help but wonder when her once gangly body became so graceful. She's perfectly in sync with the music. "She seems a bit off tonight," Penny says, standing by Naomi. Penny has known both her and Ren for years. By this point, others are watching Ren. Brandon has returned, and he observes with an unpleasant hunger. He's more attentive with his stare, and his eyes display an odd demeanor that Naomi can't quite place, but it's the same as Ren's. "She's having fun," Naomi says with little confidence. Brandon moves toward Ren, and they dance, their bodies pressing against each other. "I'd say so," Penny says, her voice thick with disgust at Ren's disrespect. "Ren!" Naomi blurts out. Ren's head snaps in her direction, and she approaches. "What the hell was that?" Naomi asks. "What?" Ren says. Penny tries sneaking away. "Penny!" "You have children," Ren says, and Penny turns to her. "You might want to go check on them." Penny gawks at Ren before leaving the room. "And that?" Naomi asks, humiliated. "Just because her husband's downstairs with them doesn't mean she should neglect her duty as a mother," Ren says, like Penny and her husband haven't been swapping shifts all night. "We need to talk," Naomi says. Walking out of the party, Naomi heads for the restroom, Ren following from behind. In the restroom, Naomi checks under the stalls, and they come up empty. "What is going on with you?" Naomi asks, desperately wanting to understand. Ren cocks her head. "Your behavior has been so bizarre. I was hoping that tonight would relieve some stress and that you'd get back to normal, but what the hell was that, Ren?" "Naomi, everything is perfectly fine on my end. Perhaps you're the one experiencing some dissatisfaction?" "That, right there. Why are you talking like that?" Naomi turns from her. "Can you just tell me what—" She cuts off in a scream. It's brief, but in the mirror she sees Ren standing behind her, eyes twice their normal size and bulging from their sockets. Her mouth is wider than it should be. Naomi whirls around and Ren grabs her shoulders to steady her and then takes a step back. Naomi turns to the mirror only to find her own normal reflection. You were... She looks back at Ren, then back at the mirror. I saw... You need to learn how to relax. That's what I'm trying to do. Ren pulls her in, and as upset as Naomi has been with the physical distance, her stomach churns as Ren's lips meet hers. The kiss, like everything else, isn't right. Do you think you can do the same? Ren asks after pulling away. Naomi nods. Good, Ren says, leaving the bathroom. It isn't until the door closes that Naomi realizes she's holding her breath. As she exhales, it's louder than she anticipates. Nervously, she looks back at the mirror. Again, it is only her, as she should be. On her way back to the party, a small child gets off the elevator. He has tiny, round features, and she recognizes him as Penny's son. Connor, your mom just went to check on you. The boy stares at her, unaffected, and walks by. Connor, where's your mother? She asks as he hums, walking into the party. Naomi follows and scans the room, but Penny is nowhere to be found. Surveying nearby dancers, she recognizes a guest who she thought had left. They have the same euphoric expressions. With no sign of Penny, Naomi takes the elevator to the 3rd floor. She heads for Penny's room and knocks. Penny's husband answers the door. Did you know Connor is upstairs? Naomi asks. Yes, he says. Oh, is Penny in there? Connor certainly isn't upstairs alone. Right. Sorry, she says and returns to the 5th floor. Connor and his sister run along the pre-event hall, and Connor nearly crashes into Naomi. She struggles to keep her composure. She just wants to go home. She checks the clock on the wall. 4 minutes until midnight. She spent the last 2 years reigning in the new year with a kiss from Ren. Right now, nothing seems more unappealing. Instead of returning to the party, she goes into the room with the extra snacks and leans on the counter, gripping it as she closes her eyes. An eerie hum comes from the hall. Her eyes snap open. She recognizes the tune. It's the same one as Ren's from the night before. Stepping back into the hall, she doesn't see the children, not at first. But reflected in the glass of a piece of art, 2 heads pop up from behind the Happy New Year wooden frame. But their faces are distorted. Like Ren's reflection in the bathroom, their oversized eyes seem like they're trying to escape their sockets, and their wide mouths take up more than half their face. Turning in a gasp, she stares directly at the children. The perfectly adorable children. Giggling, they scurry off to join the party. Shaken, Naomi retreats back to the room she just came from. What is wrong with me? She asks herself, tears stinging her eyes. Her head pounds, and she hopes there's aspirin in one of the drawers. In the 2nd drawer, she finds a stack of Polaroid pictures. The first photo is of a couple she does not know, posing lovingly. Brandon is in the 2nd picture. As she flips through the photos, she stops on the 6th one. It's another of Brandon, but he looks different. His face resembles the warped features of Ren and the children. The more photos that pass, the more faces become distorted, as if happening gradually throughout the night. Recklessly tossing photo after photo onto the counter, she eventually finds the one of her and Ren. Naomi looks fine, but Ren's face is as terrifying as it was in the mirror. Putting down the photos, she quickly returns to the party as the room chants, 10, 9, 8. She searches for her phone. 7, 6, 5. She finds it. 4, 3, 2. She dashes from the room. 1. Happy New Year! The party roars. Shaking, she presses the Uber app, but before she has the chance to do anything, screams erupt. Hurried footsteps and panic sound from the party, and without thinking, she runs to the nearest room, the one with the pictures. She peers around the door. A woman rushes out of the party, and Brandon chases her, grabbing hold of her so she can't move while others charge from the room and are quickly accosted by other guests. Then, a vile, naked creature exits the party, and Naomi hides herself, barely peeking into the pre-event hall from her safe room. The creature is small and almost human-like, but its eyes protrude disgustingly, and sharp teeth hang from its far too wide mouth as it smiles and stalks its way toward Brandon and the woman. Its arms are so long that they practically drag on the floor. It approaches the screaming woman in Brandon's arms as others are being held against their will. Before Naomi's eyes, the creature places both hands on the woman's face, and the woman goes silent, standing perfectly still, transfixed. The creature morphs into a copy of the woman and takes her hand, leading her toward the elevators. Another creature comes from the room. Naomi withdraws from the doorway. She can't leave. Her eyes fall on the cabinets under the sink. If she can't run, she can at least hide. Praying she fits inside, she darts for the cabinets, opening one and pushing paper towels to the side. She crams herself inside, shutting herself in. She waits as the chaos continues, texting her location and asking to please send for help. She sends a mass text and double-checks that her phone is silenced. She cups her hands over her mouth to quiet the breathing as someone enters the room. Whoever it is right on the other side of the cabinet door. They tap their fingers against the counter. Then, a shuffling comes from above, like someone is gathering the photos. And eventually, they leave. Naomi stays in that cabinet as the cries fade to nothing and the party resumes. Not even a half hour later, the music stops, and a voice of authority booms. It's the police. Carefully, Naomi climbs out of the cabinet. An officer spots her as she enters the pre-event hall. "Ma'am, we received a call telling us to come to this location. Do you have any idea why?" Not wanting to sound insane, the best Naomi can come up with is, "My friend, Penny, she's missing. I can't find her anywhere, and she has children." "Penny's in here." Naomi stiffens at the sound of Ren's voice. It's then that she sees Penny and the children coming out of the party. The officer glances at them. "Is this her?" That is not Penny. Naomi can feel it. "Would you mind taking me home?" Naomi asks the officer, feeling weak. She takes one final look inside the party room, retrieving her coat from a chair and knocking over a candle in the process. Wax spills onto the hardwood floor. Her brain tunes out all the noise as she tries to piece together the evening. In the lobby, the woman that creature is masquerading as stumbles off the elevator, the straps of her high heels hanging from her fingers. It looks at Naomi, and Naomi looks away, staying close to the officer. Instead of going home, she has the officer drop her off at her parents' house. All her belongings are left at her apartment. She breaks the lease the following morning. She gets a new phone and a new number, never wanting to hear from Ren again, or whatever that thing was. She saw what happened to the guest. Wherever Ren is, she's gone. It's been 3 years since that terrible New Year's Day. Now Naomi stands in the town square with her friends and her girlfriend of 7 months, Jess, waiting for the fireworks to begin. It's the one night parents allow their children to stay up well past their bedtime. Some children run around, taking full advantage of this treat, while others sleep in their exhausted parents' arms. 10 minutes before midnight, Naomi orders hot chocolate at a truck parked on the sidewalk. They'll be shutting off the building lights soon. She orders a regular hot chocolate for herself and one with a splash of caramel for Jess. With the hot chocolate warming her hands through her gloves, she makes her way through the crowd when the lights shut off, one by one. Almost time for fireworks. She's practically, to Jess, when she hears it. A heart-stopping, gentle, polished laugh. She immediately pauses. With a slow, deliberate turn of her head, she finds the monster disguised as Ren, sitting on a bench with a woman. Before she can tell herself to run, it sees her, and its mouth curls into a smile.